I'm here with Chris of Serenity to talk about Nemesis AD, out November 3rd on Napalm Records. First time that we're chatting. Thank you for taking the time to be on the channel. Let's get right into it. This album has, I would say, a concept, a theme, if you will. Can you share some light on not necessarily just the theme and concept, but how did you guys get to it? How did you guys think about it and decided to go with it?
The theme, the topic, or red line, however you will call it, is in Serenity always a historical person usually, and this historical person is Albrecht Dürer, who has created one artwork which was called Nemesis, and out of a whole selection of a whole concept thing, which was called again the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I think it's from the Bible or from Christian things, anyways. And one of these artworks again is Nemesis. So when we collected ideas for the title, we were looking for something strong, for something the people may also know. Then we had Nemesis in our list, but the problem, like you could imagine, is Nemesis is another. Wow, no one ever did a Nemesis album. Of course, there are a lot, and so we were thinking about how to give it this Albrecht Dürer, this touch he usually was giving his artwork. So I came up with the idea, let's call it Nemesis AD, because he was the first one doing the sign. Thanks to him, we are able to sign things like autograph cards or whatever, because he was the first one doing this AD thing on his pictures or the artworks he was creating. And so I was thinking, hey, let's do that. And the good thing is, we all said yes. And now we have a kind of open game, because no one knows what this AD is, to be honest. The ones are thinking it's after Christ, the others were thinking
That's
it's
what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was an add-on, advertising. What's this ad thing? But the Dürer fans will know hopefully, but it's for Albrecht Dürer, so it's Nemesis of Albrecht Dürer. The thing is, he was never using a point between his letters, so it's not A point, D point. Maybe that would lead everyone already to, okay, this is Albrecht Dürer, but we would keep it exactly like he would have done it.
Wow, really, really intelligent and really interesting. I was going in a completely different direction with that AD, so thank you for clarifying that. Now, coming from, I hate to compare albums. I always stay away from comparing albums. I think every album has to be looked at it individually. But when you guys look back at the last night, what did you feel you had to improve upon that record coming into this album?
The thing was, the last night was the first album with a new producer, with Sasha Pat. It was also the first album on which we have already worked together with Marco Pastorino. It was it was the first album, let's say, we tried to follow more this idea to go a little bit away from the super symphonic band, being more power metal, being more straight metal, being less prog, and all these elements Serenity tried before, but we didn't had the idea, or we never were thinking about, let's change something or let's improve something. We just wanted to follow the ideas we have started on the last night, and because we kept working, of course, with Sasha. We kept working in the songwriting trio, George, Marco, and me. We changed the orchestration co-worker, which was not because Lucas Knöbel is a bad guy doing that. He's the problem is he's getting too big, to be honest, because now he's doing movies for Spielberg and all or whoever. So the thing is, just we wanted to keep the idea, and let's see what we can do, because usually it needs time if you change a producing position, and if you're getting someone into your team writing also now music, or getting creating ideas for your band, it needs a little bit of time. And I think we were pretty fast with a second album to get it on a really good level, because it felt already 100 times better than on the first one. It was already more, the workflow was already very, very smooth, very straight. We knew what we want to do, what we have to do. So yeah.
That's why I'm asking you that question. I wasn't a big fan of the Last Night, but this album, it's like, wow, like talk about a record that feels like everything is firing, the right cylinders are going here. And from the design point of view, to the sound, to the execution, to the vocals, to everything on this album feels like a huge improvement when you look back at the previous record. Now, you mentioned Marco. I didn't remember him being on the previous album. Did he have as much of a role on the previous record as he did on this record?
Yeah, because the amount is not different, because it's been like, since we changed the producer, also George lost, let's say, his songwriting mate, because he usually, as he's living really close to Innsbruck, which is really far away from my place, it's not that we can meet all the time to write songs together. So, but our former producer Jan, he was closer living to him, so he could straight drive there, getting the ideas he had to music. And so when he started working with Marco in this Fallen Sanctuary project, and got him also to Serenity, he got a new, let's say, songwriting friend, because they are more also like the music they listen to is more the same. I'm completely, George just, it seems he said it in an interview, I'm more a modern music guy, trying to bring completely other ideas to Serenity since I'm there, and trying to bring this all, that's my job, to the, let's say, to the current sound we are having, because I'm preparing usually the songs that, in a way that the orchestration has just to be on top then, or the producing is, of course, setting, Sasha is telling, hey, this and that has to be a bit different there, we need another verse there, we need another melody or whatever, but the general sound then in the end, that's my job, to be honest. And so the thing is with Marco, he's completing that. So he's completing this missing element for George and for us, because they both together, they create ideas I can work with, and I'm creating ideas they can work with, so they can sing to, they can try to create melodies, whatever, and choirs, and that's something, of course, we had to learn in the Last Night, because it was different than before, because usually we were sitting in the studio in Munich and writing stuff. Now we're sitting here together, or with me and George in the final recording sessions then, or he's working with Marco. And of course, after, the good thing was, let's say, the good thing of a bad thing is that we had way more time to get in touch together. We were working on in memoria together. We had talks together. We could think about the Last Night, but not in like, what shall we do different. It was then when we played the first tour with it, we could feel the songs again, and maybe we understood better. This song was written by him. What was he thinking about, and what was the good thing and what was the bad thing, let's say, and so the things came easier together on Nemesis AD.
Definitely. I mean, you mentioned some key elements there. I honestly feel like the Last Night, maybe there was some growing pains there, that now you guys are all more familiar with one another, and Marco's impact is maybe felt a little bit more on this album than on the previous record, because maybe he's also a little bit more comfortable. And that takes me to the next point, which is the guitar sound. This album has more power in the symphonic power metal. When I say those three words, I feel like this album has a little bit more focus on the power side. The guitars sound a lot heavier than before. They sound a lot thicker, and they feel like they are the main meal. Everything else is there in order to complement it, but it seems to be a more guitar focus, a more guitar centric record. Do you see the album from a sonic perspective that same way?
Thank you, first of all, because the sound was exactly created here. So it's this time, really, it's the first time ever. It's all my sound. It's not Sasha Sasha got my guitars. He was not reamping. He was not changing it. He was just happy with it, and just said, let's take it. It's great. And I was like, yes, cool, thank you. After 100 felt years of being guitarist, the first time ever I can give guitars, and they are just used like they are. Yeah. It was not the idea, but it was not that thing we wanted to do. I mean, some things are turning out while you are recording, while you are mixing, while you are producing. We had the plan already since, I think, Lionheart, to be more guitar, more power based, let's say, and less symphonic. Like I said already, we wanted to give this symphonic, cineastic elements, parts in songs where they can be really featured, so the people would love it. But then let's bring it to something we would say, okay, we don't need all the time some violins or whatever just to have them, because we need to be symphonic. We want to be power symphonic prog. If we want to do prog, then let's write a prog lick. If it fits, it's cool, but it's not like we need it. It's not like all these things you have to have this. It's more, let's say, I've tried to create the sound of the songs, and also what I explained to our orchestration guy, Daniel Matza, who was doing a great job. It was the first time ever he was working with us, and I just got the first orchestrations here, and I was already like, awesome, because they have all symphonic elements you want to listen to as a symphonic fan, but you can mix it so you can feature guitars. It's not that full that the guitars have to go somewhere, because we want to be power on this part. But then if we want to feature a symphonic part where I say, hey, there's just a chord, there's space to do something, he did it. And so the whole red line, the whole flow of every song, or the whole record, then in the end just turned out perfect. And that's awesome, because he understood how we wanted to have the sound, let's say, or we wanted to have also the mix. And for Sasha, then it was way easier to mix everything and feature the elements, like I said already. And then you have a song like, I don't know, Soldiers Under the Cross, or even Reflections, where everything is inside, let's say. You can imagine of a song or whatever, and then you have this, hey, go there, do your stuff, whatever you want, because there is the space. Here you can go crazy with cinematic things, and but then there's Nemesis AD, or End of Babylon. So we need a shot. We need something strong. We need something.
By the way, that's my favorite song on the album.
Which one?
End of Babylon.
Thank you. Cool.
I love that song. I don't know how you guys did not make that one of the first singles. I'm like, that song is amazing. One of the great things about this album is the design that you guys put together, the structure that you guys put together, because you guys alternate a more bombastic cinematic song with a little bit more of a ballad, or a little bit more of a mellow track. Then you have another big song, then you bring it back down again. When you do an album like that, from a listener's point of view, you keep me connected and you keep me engaged, because I don't know what's coming around the corner. It never becomes boring. It never becomes repetitive. And then quality-wise, it also balances out the record. The record is as good at the beginning as it is at the end. Is this an easy final product to get to, when you have these kind of songs, to sit down and say, okay, this starts the album, this finishes the album, and how do we put things in between?
So it should not turn out like, hey, I'm trying to push myself, but I'm happy that I suggested this structure in the album, this set list, let's say, because I was listening to the songs. I mean, like I said, I'm here sitting and creating the song sound, and so I think for me it was an easier way to create this running. Oh, you said, I'm too stupid to tell the name, how the song list of, or the running order, the song list, whatever, of the songs, because I was working so long with them, so I knew the feeling of, hey, this song is more this, so this is this tempo, this is this structure, and exactly what you've told was the idea after behind everything, to not give. Of course, I had the feeling, we have the first single, Ritter, Tod und Teufel, is a super fast song. Usually you try to bring it to bring it maybe on as the first or the second song, whatever. But it needs the right moment, and so I was thinking we had this also super different intro. We never had just a choir. Awesome idea by George, who said because we needed something to have. Shall we create this typical symphonic intro, and then there's the fall of man? And he said no, there's a song in Innsbruck. This is an Austrian song. I think it's made in the area of but at the same time, like Albrecht was at this place. So there is a story behind that, and it's cool, and it's somehow completely different than all the others. And then you have Fall of Man with Roy Khan as the first song. I mean, it's cool, but like I said, it's this when usually and yeah, it's a quote I know Jennifer told after Beyond the Black, because she also said it's the first album. She said we never would have changed anything. And when I was sitting here and listening to Nemesis AD after 3 weeks, having finished everything and listening to it, I get goosebumps because after the end I said, it's the first time ever I have to say it's a Serenity album. I would not change anything. It's perfect, exactly listening it. And when you are happy to listen to your own music, to be honest, as an artist, after having worked with the songs more than a year, all the time, every day with the same melodies, usually you're like, yeah, I know it, it's okay. But it's really like I'm excited to listen it ever and ever again because it's great. It's really great, and that's nothing I just tell because I have to, because it's my music. It's really something I never felt before.
How did the partnership with Roy Khan come about? Because what a great way to get the record started.
The song was first there, of course, and then we were looking for a feature, and of course, yeah, when you're working with such a Pat, someone, of course, who is also connecting to Roy, and you are in Serenity, a band who has a story, a history with Camelot, and Roy, I think he's one of the idols of George. It was ever on his bucket list, having a duet with Roy Khan. So we were thinking about which feature we can do. Shall we go back to this, let's say, Serenity typical thing, trying to get some female voices there, a female singer, maybe some a well-known one or a less known one, don't care, just we have another female voice, or we have now Marco also singing. Of course, we have a new voice already. Is it enough? But then we were thinking, let's try to ask Roy. And he loved the song. He was in that immediately. He had time. We could afford him. Everything was like, okay, then
it was perfect.
Let's do it. And after, I mean, I have to say, I know Camelot, of course. I love the work of Camelot. Only thing is that I'm not that die-hard fan. This is not the metal music I grew up with. But yeah, I was listening to his voice already on the albums. But when I was listening to his voice on our song, it was like, this is magic. You can just close your eyes and it's like there's an opera happening when he's singing. And that it will turn out that great together with another male voice, with George's voice. It's perfect. It's really, really something cool.
And speaking of George, let's finish our conversation on that topic. I think this is his best performance in Serenity. This album, without a shadow of a doubt, I don't know what you guys did to the guy. I don't know what you guys told him. I honestly have no clue. He felt so free. He felt so loose. His range is incredible. I mean, I've always been a big fan of his vocal style and his vocal delivery. Everything that he does, I honestly really like his vocals. But this album, you guys took it to a different level. Did you guys pull him aside and said, hey, listen, if you don't deliver, we're getting rid of you for the next one? What happened?
No, I think you don't have to tell him that. It's like, the thing is really like you said, I think he was kind of free. I mean, there was no pressure. We don't had anything. He wanted to have a best Serenity album ever. The songs were, let's say, there was nothing that insecure. There was not the songs. Some of the songs I have here still in the studio, they are like they've been in the pre-production. They are on the record. it's not like there is that much changes during the final recordings, because sometimes we were sitting in the studio, and when you're listening to the first take, let's say, then you won't you won't get this song anymore, because it's completely different now. And this time it was already like, this is like that and this is like that. And so if you're, as a singer, going down to the studio and singing, because you have already listened to this song, you felt it already, and I think you are that comfortable with the range, with also something that we never did in this detail before. I was all the time with Sasha together checking his range, which is your real highest note, which is the note you can really go to, or which is also the note we could push you to sing it, because maybe you would do it a little bit lower, but you can do it also one or a half note or one tone higher. And we checked it out here, and when we felt it, Sasha and me were sitting here, and like he was singing, and we were like, you see, this is the magic. And now we keep it, and then you go to your studio in Austria, and then you do it again, just in the final takes. Then we got it, and it was perfect. And also, this is something. He has a friend with the studio, Tommy, who is recording his vocals, and on the last night, it was the first time we recorded all the vocals, or almost all vocals there. And I think also Tommy now knows George way better, how he's singing, so they can work better. So everything, it was improving in steps, but they were not like we have to improve this. They were happening automatically, because it was the second time now. And I think with this feeling, I feel already the pressure for the next album, because then how we have to keep we have to do another step. So yeah, I start working already on the next one now.
The bar is really high, like,
yeah.
like you know, which is a great thing. I mean, it's better to follow up a great record than to follow up a record that you feel like it could have been better. So, like I said, I hate to compare albums, but when you look at the last night, this album just is head over heels, way, way, way better than what the last night was. It's an album that just has, I think it has the DNA of the band, and it, like I said, it has a little bit more power into the symphonic power metal, and really well put together. I love the guitar sound. I said that already, but even in the solos, I think the solos are great. The sound of the solos, how they add value to the songs, how some of them bring a little bit of the melody that the song has, and they just make it bigger. I think you guys really did a phenomenal job with Nemesis AD. And on that note, thank you very much for your time. I hope to see you guys in North America and Canada at some point. We need Serenity to come all the way here.
Yeah, we
talk
do
to
that
somebody.
as well.
Talk to somebody, make it happen, and bring Beyond the Black together. So maybe the two together. That way, at least I get to see the two at the same time. So
yeah, I would be in as well, because then I could do it with both bands at the same time, of course. I would play it as well then, of course. I would do the Zach Wild thing with Ozzy and Black Label. So, thank you so much. I mean, yeah, what shall I say? It's a pleasure. We are honored, and I think this album will open a lot of doors, even in a long history of Serenity, because I never had the feeling, never got the reaction of guys like you, all these magazines, interview partners, all the things. I'm just sitting here every day, and we are 4 guys doing interviews, talking to magazines, and we got such a big response, such a good response. And so I'm hoping, of course, that this will also lead us finally to North America, not just for one show, like again in January on the 70,000 tons of metal, but also for touring, for coming to Canada, for coming to all the places we haven't been. And thanks that you like it. Thanks for sharing Nemesis AD, listening to it, and yeah, we can't wait to play the songs there.
A lot of doors for you guys. So congratulations, Chris. Thank you very much for your time. I know it's been a crazy day for you. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon.
As well, thank you. What's the time at your place?
It's 4 o'clock my time now.
So then hopefully we'll have then yeah, the end of you can call it the day, and enjoy the rest of the of your day. Enjoy the evening, and yeah, thanks, and see you soon.
And you too, and a speedy recovery for your loved one.
Yeah, I will cuddle him later on, I'm quite sure, and then thank you so much.
Play the end of Babylon for him. That will help.
Yeah, he was there when it's a song of mine, so he was there when I wrote it. So he knew it. Thank you.
Take care, man. All the best.
Yeah, see you.